they were suspended from work, and on the same day, they registered a complaint at my ministry as they considered that they had been discriminated on religious grounds. My ministry convened the representative of ENS Africa Limited, Mauritius, on the 25th of June 2025 to secure their version, and they informed that there is a dress code which has been well established since the past 30 years, and all employees of ENS Africa Limited Mauritius have to officially adhere to same. The dress code is an implied term of their contract of employment. Employees are not allowed to wear anything which is outside the dress code. However, they pointed out that there was no written policy regarding dress code. On the 2nd of July 2025, the aggrieved workers reported the existence of a labor dispute between themselves and ENS Africa Limited Mauritius to the President of the Commission of Mediation and Conciliation under Section 64(1) of the Employment Relations Act 2008 on whether they should be allowed to wear headscarf on their uniform at their workplace. Conciliation meetings were held at the Commission on the 7th, 11th, and 17th of July. The workers were present, assisted by their legal counsel. However, ENS Africa did not appear on the three occasions. On 18 July 2025, the Commission informed the workers and the employer that it was of the view that a state of deadlock had been reached, and the workers had requested the Commission to refer the matter to the Employment Relation Tribunal. However, on the 21st of July 2025, the Commission received a letter from ENS Mauritius Limited, purported to be dated on the 18th of July 2025, which was a Saturday, terminating the employment of the two workers. I'm informed that on the 22nd of July 2025, the two aggrieved workers registered a complaint at my ministry to the effect that their employment had been terminated by way of a letter dated 18 July, summarily, allegedly because they had been spreading false and misleading information about ENS Africa Limited, which resulted in apparently threats being made to the safety of the members of the firm. The workers requested that they be reinstated back to their post. On 23rd July 2025, my ministry conducted an inquiry at ENS Africa Mauritius and met with Mr. Thierry Koenig, Senior Attorney, Director, and Mr. Martin Sauzier, Senior Counsel, Chairman, among others. The firm is agreeable to pay all dues prescribed by law upon termination of employment, but they are not agreeable to reinstate the workers. I wish to highlight, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, that although one of the reasons of the termination was misconduct, no disciplinary hearing was held for the employees to provide the workers with the opportunity to answer any charge against them. I'm also not aware if the employer reported any alleged threat which they apparently had received to the police for inquiry. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, on the 25th of July 2025, my ministry referred the matter to the Employment Relation Tribunal to claim reinstatement of the workers. Concurrently, the application to join the workfare program has been referred to the Ministry of Social Integration, Social Security and National Solidarity for payment of transition unemployment benefit. My ministry has been informed that by the Equal Opportunities Commission that Mrs. N.A. and Miss M.A. also lodged individual complaints against their employers before the Equal Opportunities Commission on the 25th and 30th of June 2025. Both complainants alleged that they had been discriminated on the basis of their creed, as they had been required by their employer to stop wearing their headscarf at their place of work. ENS Africa Mauritius has yet to give their version to the Equal Opportunities Commission. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regards Part B of the question relating to similar cases of discrimination, I am informed that since 2022, there has been 3 cases reported to my ministry as follows. On 10th of March 2022, a bus conductor reported a case regarding requests to have his Sundays off to attend church services. On 3rd of April 2023, an educator of Muslim faith complained that he was denied access to his workplace because of his beard. And on 1st July 2025, the Private Enterprise Employees Union reported a dispute to the effect that employees of the National Social Inclusion Foundation were not being allowed to display any religious symbols on their office table. Following the intervention of my ministry, the first 2 cases have been resolved to the satisfaction of the workers, and the third case is still under mediation. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, discrimination of workers cannot be tolerated in a plural society like Mauritius. Section 11 of the Constitution guarantees a citizen's right to practice his religion, and Section 16 of the Constitution protects every citizen against discrimination, including on the basis of creed and religion. Section 5 of the Workers' Rights Act 2019 very clearly provides that no employer shall treat in a discriminating manner any worker who is in his employment. The definition of discrimination includes affording treatment to workers attributed or mainly to their creed. The definition of discrimination includes affording different treatment to workers attributable wholly or mainly to their creed or religion. Moreover, Section 64 of the Workers' Rights Act 2019 further provides that an employment cannot be terminated by reason of a worker's race, color, caste, or religion. Let me reassure the House that this matter is being taken very seriously. As highlighted in the report of Cabinet decision of 25th of July 2025, Government has taken note with concern of this case, and the possibility of action being taken against the law firm is being examined. My ministry is in consultation with the Attorney General's Office, working towards the reinforcement of labour legislation to prevent violation of the human rights of workers, including in such cases of discrimination.
Yes, you have one supplementary.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, may I ask the Honourable Minister, taking into account that there are many cases that are not reported due to fear of being dismissed from work, will his ministry consider embarking on a national campaign to inform workers of this country that they cannot be discriminated on the basis of caste, religion, or religious belief, and also to inform those employers who are perpetrating discrimination that this cannot continue in this democratic country?
I thank the honourable member for this very valuable suggestion. We will consider with the officer of my ministry whether to have this national campaign in NBC TV, through the media and the press.
Yes, you have one supplementary.
Honourable, thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. May I ask the Minister, given that Section 5 is an offence, punishable under Section 123 by criminal punishment, as the Minister well knows, why has an interview not been conducted with UNS Africa under a potential violation of Section 5? The more so that the parent company features on its website at least 5 persons wearing hijab, and therefore it suggests that this is not a global policy, but one which is local. So why has there not been any action under Section 123?
The honourable member will be happy to note that my ministry has already referred the matter to DPP for an advice specifically on whether Section 5 of the Workers' Rights Act has been breached and what action, legal action, can be taken against ENS Africa in Mauritius. We are awaiting the advice of the DPP's office. With regards to ENS Africa, my ministry wrote to them officially to report to them this dispute and to ask whether there was any dress code imposed by ENS Africa in South Africa, and the answer was no. I personally spoke to the director of ENS South Africa. They're taking this very seriously, and we're still hoping that, ENS Mauritius will come to better terms and reinstate these workers.
Have another one? Okay, quick.
Yes. Now, with regards to the course of action that has been taken by the ministry, that is for reinstatement, as it is now doubtful that the relationship, the trust, the bond of trust that existed between employer and employee still exists or will be able to be resuscitated in the future. Is the Minister agreeable that this is the right time to make an example out of this sort of practice? Hence why even if Section 123 has not been utilized in the past, he should ensure that this time an example is made.
Absolutely, Mr. Speaker. So that's why Cabinet took the decision to refer the matter to the Attorney General for advice as to what action can be taken against the law firm, and also to consider whether we need to make any amendment to our law. I understand you're referring to the provisions of the ERT with regard to reinstatement, where there's a breakdown of relationship. All this is being looked into by the Attorney General's office, and we will come with necessary amendment if it is required to reinforce the right of every citizen of this country to dress in accordance with their religious belief.
Okay. The Honourable Fourth Member for Rodrigues.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, B795.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the 11 schemes which have been included in the financial year 2025-2026 have as overall objective to provide structured financial support to artists across the Republic of Mauritius, including Rodrigues, with the aim of promoting artistic creation, professional development, international outreach, and the safeguarding and valorization of our cultural heritage. With regard to Part A of the question, I wish to clarify that there are currently 9 schemes being implemented by my ministry as follows. First, the scheme for concert. Second, the scheme for development of performance arts group. Third, the International Development Grant Scheme for Performing Artists. Fourth, the Scheme for International Award. Fifth, the Scheme for International Competition Participation. Sixth, Other Support to Artists Scheme. Seven, the Production Grant Scheme. Eight, the Emerging Talent Grant Scheme. And 9, the Research Grant Scheme. Each of these schemes has its own eligibility criteria based on the specific objectives of the schemes. With your permission, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am tabling the detailed criteria for each of the 9 schemes. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to highlight that 3 of these 9 schemes, namely the Production Grant Scheme, the Emerging Talent Grant Scheme, and the Research Grant Scheme, were previously being implemented under the Finance and Audit National Arts Fund, Regulation 2017. Following the measure announced in the financial year 2025-2026 to wind up all such funds, provision has been made in the budget of my ministry to honor the contractual obligations under these schemes already entered into the National Arts Fund with applicants. The remaining 2 schemes, namely the Cultural Rebate Scheme and the Heritage Stewardship Scheme, are newly announced schemes in the 2025-2026 budget and are being worked out in consultation with stakeholders. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish also to inform the House that all the above schemes will be reviewed during the forthcoming Assises des Arts de la Culture, which will be organized shortly by my ministry. This national consultation platform will serve to finalize the design and implementation of the 2 new schemes and to assess the 9 ongoing ones, which may be amended where necessary to better align with the needs and expectations of the artists community. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to Part B of the question, I wish to inform that artists from Rodrigues are fully eligible to apply under all the schemes being implemented by my ministry. It is to be highlighted that for financial year 25-26, only 1 application from Rodrigues has been received as at date under the General Assistance Scheme, Other Support to Artists, and which has been approved by the ministry. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my ministry remains firmly committed to promoting inclusive and equitable access to opportunities for all artists across the Republic of Mauritius. Thank you.
Yes, one supplementary.
I thank the Minister for his reply. May I ask the Minister if representatives from Rodrigues will participate in the assize, or will there be consultations in Rodrigues itself? Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, of course, they will be invited to participate in the assize des arts de la culture.
The Honourable Second Member for Savane Black River.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, B796, please.
Minister Tourism.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. With your kind permission, I will reply to both B796 and PQ B805 together, as they are related to the same subject matter. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'm informed by the Tourism Authority that kite surfing is a sport activity which is practiced throughout the year when the weather is windy. It is carried out mostly by tourists. I understand that there are currently 20 operators of rental agency for kite surf, registered with the Tourism Authority and who are operating across the island. The first schedule of the Tourism Authority Act 2006 provides for an operator or of a rental agency of a kite surf to hold a tourism enterprise license from the Tourism Authority. There is no provision for individual kite surfer, but both local and tourists to hold any authorization to practice that activity. For individual kite surfers not going through a rental agency, there is also no obligation legally or otherwise for the coach or monitor to be present on site for the practice of that activity. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I am further informed by Tourism Authority that the operation of a rental agency for kite surf is regulated under Government Notice 328 of 2021. These guidelines, which set the criteria, standards and procedures for the safe operation of the activity to be carried out by duly licensed rental agency, provide for licensee to ensure the kite surfer. The kite surfer is knowledgeable in the kite surfing activities, is briefed on the code of practice which form part of the guidelines, and fill and sign a disclaimer form before carrying out kite surfing activity. Moreover, the licensee should ensure inter alia that a register is kept with the details such as the date of activity, the name of the client, national identity card, passport number, age, time, in and out, signature of the client, name of instructor if accompanied, etc. Such information should be readily available at place where the kite surfing activities is carried out for inspection by an authorized officer of the Tourism Authority. An inspection of all kite surf boards, safety gears, rescue craft and related equipment is carried out to ensure that they are properly maintained and are in safe operating condition. Safety devices are tested prior to carrying out kite surfing activities or renting same to client. A signal system be displayed is going to be put in place, visible to all kite surfers engaged in the activity, at least ensure constant communication with the kite surfers to inform of weather condition, of any changes thereof, of any other dangers, and constant lookout is carried out throughout the duration of the kite surfing activities. I am informed also, Mr. Deputy Speaker, as the code of practice, that the licensee is required to brief any kite surfer on the do or the don't of the activities, the hours of operation, the area where he is allowed to practice, as well as the precaution to be taken. With your permission, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'm tabling a copy of the guidelines for the operating rental agency for the kite surf and the code of practice. Mr. Deputy Speaker, legally, there is no designated area at sea where the activity is to be carried out. It can be practiced both in the lagoon or off the lagoon. On-spot monitoring is carried out randomly by tourism enforcement officer to verify if the rental agency are complying with the prescribed guidelines. It is to be highlighted that the security boat and kite surfing equipment of the rental agency are also verified to ensure compliance with the established checklist. Mr. Deputy Speaker, as regard to the health and safety measures, the guidelines provide the following. The prevailing climatic and sea condition to be monitored continually during the activity of the allow for sail. Availability of signal system to inform persons carry out kite surfing activity of weather condition and of any changes thereof. Verification of equipment to ensure that they are safe for use. Availability of an emergency plan in case of accident. Wearing of an appropriate flotation device by kite surfers to ensure safety at the sea. The kite surfing instructor to be holder of a valid first aid certificate and life-saving certificate. Availability of adequately...
If the list is long, you can circulate the guidelines as well.
Oh, if you want,
For the
of course.
health, yeah.
Let us. Thank you.
Any supplementary question? Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Will the minister consider of introducing a rescue team at the same spot as it's written over there, dangerous bathing, and normally people are disallowed to go and swim over there? And if he can consider to put same team at Tamarin where all the people are doing or surfing over there, and especially these people go out when the sea is rough.
Put your question.
Definitely we will be looking into the matter, but then I must say that we met with the operators lately, and we are coming more because we're having more meetings in the following weeks, and from there we will know where to go.
Yes. Other one, yeah. Put your question.
If the minister will consider, because the Coast Guard got those vessels, and when those people going out in the kite surfing with their kite, it's going too quick, if he will agree to introduce jet ski, to go very quick, to save if someone is in trouble.
I will consider.
The Honorable Third Member for Grave Pluto.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I thank Honourable Member for this question. Indeed, the phenomenon of false information and the proliferation of fake profiles, often accompanied by anonymous postings, is creating significant disruption on social media and our society at large. This concern has been substantiated by the high number of cases reported to the Cybercrime Unit between 2014 and 2024, as also indicated by the Honourable Prime Minister in his reply PQB 715. In fact, our legal framework, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, remains outdated. While the legal framework for many other countries like the UK, the European Union, France, Germany, have actually been updated, our jurisdiction, our legal framework as of date does not define what really an online harm is. And here we are talking about the online harms. Nevertheless, our laws provide for some parameters that deter unacceptable or unlawful online behavior. And I would like to seize this opportunity also to inform the House and the population at large that the Cyber Security and Cybercrime Act defines a fake profile as an untrue online representation that is probably non-existent. And under the same law, Section 16 criminalizes the use of fake profile to cause harm, yet online harms are not defined, with the penalties running up to 1 million rupees or 20 years of penal servitude. Therefore, Section 23 mandates even administrators of those social media platforms or groups to moderate and control undesirable online contents, which can be deceptive or inaccurate, that has been posted with an intent to defame or threaten or abuse or mislead the public. And this, it's important to note that it applies even to private WhatsApp groups, as far as a telecommunication device is being used in that communication process. And the ICT Act at Section 46 prohibits knowingly sending false or fraudulent messages. And coming to the substantive part of the answer, over and above the measures mentioned by the Honorable Prime Minister in his reply, the measures that we have put up are, so under enhanced reporting and monitoring mechanism run by the CERT-MU, we have upgraded MOCOS to MOCOS Plus. It now allows people or aggrieved parties to provide more information so that the work of the police can get easier, and so that we are also able to undertake a lot of analytic work on that to define the patterns. Secondly, there is the establishment of a multi-stakeholder committee at the level of my ministry, which is attended also by the police IT unit and the cyber crime unit to monitor and follow up on incidents. We are continuing with our sensitization campaigns targeting students, educators, and the general public. So that one had started in January and it is ongoing. And there also are security alerts when the CERT-MU identifies a message that can be of seriously aggravating nature. My ministry has also made a request to the police to operate and conduct effective cyber patrols through automated tools which are AI-powered on a 24/7 basis. And lastly, we are also exploring mutual legal assistance to bring accused who are hiding behind barriers. They are offshore, and from there they're actually disturbing our social construct in the country. So we are exploring MLA to mutual legal assistance. And finally, we have also decided to establish the Cyber Resilience and Cyber Security Unit, which will look into this matter more deeply. As to the second part of the question, the right to freedom of expression is guaranteed under Section 12, subsection 1 of the Constitution. And all actions that we are taking will be within conformity of this provision. But Section 12.2 also provides for reasonable limitations to the freedoms of expression which are necessary to protect public order, security, and rights of others. To conclude, we are looking at robust legal sanctions and ongoing legislative reforms in coordination with the Office of the Attorney General. There's enhanced reporting and investigation and law enforcement, public awareness and campaigns.
Yes, in the question, you don't have to conclude. You just answer the question.
Yeah, so all these measures.
Well, you have already said all these. So
yeah, Mr. Deputy Speaker, so all these measures aim to safeguard our digital space and its integrity. Thank you.
Thank you. Any supplementary?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, regarding this bone of contention, I would like to know whose responsibility it will be to handle the complaints reported by complainants. I would like to know exactly who is the watchdog when there are problems here.
Can you answer this question?
Thank you, sir. The CERT-MU is an agent that routes complaints to the police. So ultimately, it's the police who have the responsibility to carry out the investigations. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, one supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. For many users, social media is a license to defame. I understand that...
Put your question, please.
Yes, I must put the context because I have been informed that there is a problem of cooperation with the police from the social media platform owners. Will the Minister consider to come up with measures to force these platforms to cooperate with the police when there is investigations? Thank you.
Right. I wouldn't say that there are problems per se. We are putting in all our efforts together with the police to have the social media platform service providers to actually comply to the provisions of our local legislations. And the work that we're doing together with the Office of the Attorney General is going into that direction as well. Thank you.
The Honourable Third Member for Popular Research, B798, please. Housing.
Yes. Mr. Deputy Speaker, with your permission, I shall reply to the parliamentary question B798. I'm informed that the NSLD requested clearance from the Traffic Management and Road Safety Unit to close Malakoff Road for a period of 1 month, as from the 17th of March 2025, for the construction of a culvert. I'm also informed that during implementation, the CWA and the CEB approached the NSLD to use the trench which has been dug for pipelaying and extension of CEB underground network, thus saving on costs. Also, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, works related to the culverts were completed in March 2025. However, works being undertaken by the CWA and the CEB are still ongoing. In regards to Part B, I'm made to understand that there has been a slight delay due to clearances needed by the CWA and the CEB from the Road Development Authority in regard to wayleave across A4 Road. As regards Part C, I'm informed by the NSLD that the works are scheduled to be completed by mid-September 2025, following which the road will be reopened. I'd like to add, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, that all this is in line with the construction of 2 NSLD sites, Arsenal 1 and Arsenal 2. Both of those sites clearly required some major roadwork, such as I've just described. And it is quite unfortunate that all this could have not been done in parallel with the construction, but since there was so much bad planning on the part of the previous government, it is only when we took office that you will note that letters were sent to all authorities seeking clearances for the work to start. And that is why there has been this closure, and that is why there's always also been a delay in the delivery of houses by the NSLD. And unfortunately, that particular area of Mauritius is only but an example, and there are many more.
Yeah. The Honourable Fourth Member for Rodrigues.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. B799.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as the government's trading arm, the State Trading Corporation, STC, is tasked with importing key essential and strategic commodities such as ration rice, wheat flour, petroleum products, liquefied petroleum gas, basmati rice, milk powder, edible oil, and pulses. I am informed that there are currently 240 officers at the STC, of which 13 work in STC Rodrigues. These officers are spread across 55 grades in various technical and administrative cadres. I am further informed that all these officers are given training facilities both in-house and on the job. Over the last 5 years, these officers have received training in over 150 courses. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to Part A of the question, I am informed that only the officers of the supplies and sales cadre are currently affected by this criterion. The prescribed scheme of service for the different posts in the supplies and sales cadre of a STC requires the officers to have a certificate or a diploma in purchasing and supply management, or procurement and supply management, or logistic management to be eligible for promotion. I am further informed that in 2004, the STC sought the assistance of Polytechnics Mauritius for the mounting of a specific course for the officers in the supplies and sales cadre. This will entitle them to receive either a certificate or a diploma. Since October 2024, 21 supplies and sales officers of the STC in Mauritius had enrolled in the certificate course on sustainable logistics and supply chain operations. However, 4 of them have since dropped out. Additionally, 3 other supplies and sales officers have enrolled in the diploma course on sustainable logistics and supply chains operations. I am informed that both training courses are fully sponsored by the STC. Once these officers have successfully completed their courses, they will be eligible for promotion in the supply and sales cadre. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to Part B of the question, I am informed that there are 6 officers of the procurement and sales cadre in the STC Rodrigues who are required to be trained. I am further informed that Polytechnics Mauritius has agreed to mount the training for these officers in a specific delivery format, which will include fly-in, fly-out model for the faculty, along with selected face-to-face sessions facilitated by the team in Rodrigues. It is expected that the courses will start by the end of August this year.
Okay, thank you. The Honorable Third Member for Bobassa.
Be 800, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the answer is in the positive. Due consideration...
Honorable Minister, you are acting this local government. You have to, for the record.
The answer is in the positive. Due consideration is being given for the rehabilitation of the football ground found in Mont-Seulement La Confiance, Beaubassin. The following works will have to be carried out for the reinstatement and returfing of the Mont-Seulement La Confiance football ground. Number 1, supply and spread of topsoil, including the leveling and preparation of the ground. Number 2, supply of grass, including planting, watering and maintenance. And number 3, fixing of goal posts, removal of hoarding and reinstatement of part of the surrounding area.
Yes.
Président, je sais que l'honorable ministre n'est pas le ministre responsable de ce dossier, mais peut-il quand même indiquer à la Chambre, est-ce qu'il a une date à laquelle ce terrain sera réhabilité et surtout mis à la disposition des jeunes de cette région?
A site visit was conducted by the officers of the ministry together with the Municipal Council of Rosehill, and work is going to start very soon.
Yes. The table is advised that B081 has been withdrawn. So we go to B802, the Honorable Second Member for Mayberg.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. B802.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'm informed by the Mauritius Sports Council that the Mont Albert swimming pool is closed since June 2024 to allow for major repair works, specifically the servicing of the boiler and replacement of an electric control panel. These works are now being completed. Pre-commissioning of the electrical control panel has been completed. The MSC is currently awaiting the replenishment of the pool to carry out the final commissioning of the boiler and the electric control panel, which is expected to be completed in the coming days. Thereafter, an engineer and a safety health officer will assess the safety and stability for use. In the event the report is in the affirmative, it is expected that the swimming pool will be ready for reopening by end of August 2025.
Yes.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Can the Honourable Minister inform the House since when the swimming pool was not operational?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as I stated in my reply, the Mont Albert swimming pool is not operational since June 2024. The House may wish to know that after I assumed office in last November, I took cognizance of the numerous representations made on the deplorable condition of the pool. I effected a site visit accompanied by honourable members of that constituency, where indeed I witnessed its unacceptable state, including the green water of the pool. Not only was the pool impracticable, it was also a potential health hazard, being a breeding ground for mosquitoes and bacteria. Immediately, I impressed upon the Mauritius Sport Council, which managed the facility, to initiate urgent action for the prompt remedy of the situation. Consequently, procurement exercises were initiated, and the issues that were hindering the operation of the pool are now being addressed. Thus, the facility is now expected to be operational soon. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my ministry will further upgrade the facility through additional civil works such as replacement of tiles, flush door, bird deterrent system. The scope of work is being worked out.
The Honourable Second Member for Rodrigues.
Yes, thank you. B803.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the Foundation Programme in Literacy, Numeracy and Skills was introduced in January 2025 in grades 7, 8 and 9 to replace the former extended programme, which was not adapted to the needs of those students who didn't pass their PESAC examination. From 2022 to 2024, around 7,419 students who had enrolled in the extended programme exited the education system with neither a PESAC nor an NCE certificate. Allow me to provide the House with a few figures related to the performance of our students in Rodrigues. In 2022, only 3 out of 167. In 2023, only 21 out of 204. And in 2024, only 7 out of 209 extended stream students who had enrolled for the NCE exam passed it. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, thus, out of the 580 students who took the NCE exam in Rodrigues, only 31 were successful. This new foundation program is offered to those students who have not attained their PESAC at the National Qualification Framework NQF Level 1. It offers a blend of academic knowledge and vocational skills that will ensure the progression of students to the Technical and Vocational Education and Training TVET stream. Henceforth, all students completing the foundation program in literacy, numeracy and skills in 2025 will be awarded a foundation certificate which will be pitched at the NQF Level 2. This certificate will enable the students to enroll in a specialized National Certificate Level 3 courses at the MITD training centers. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to Part A of the question, I'm informed that 2 workshops were conducted this year for this training of around 169 educators in Rodrigues during the month of January and May 2025, respectively. In addition, meetings and discussions were also held with around 30 rectors, deputy rectors, senior educators for the foundation program in literacy, numeracy and skills development. Work sessions were also held with the departmental head, Commission of Education and other stakeholders in Rodrigues. A 3rd workshop focusing on elective subjects is scheduled for the 3rd week of August 2025 and will be conducted by the lecturers from the MIE. With regard to Part B, I'm informed that both the MIE and the Mahatma Gandhi Institute have developed full sets of curriculum content for all subjects, including electives. The curriculum has been divided into 3 clusters, namely functional literacy and numeracy, life skills and values, and trade and livelihood skills. These materials are available on the MIE website, and educators in Rodrigues have already been trained on how to access and use them effectively. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my ministry has also released funds through the Private Secondary Education Authority, PSEA, with each school in Rodrigues receiving a sum of 15,000 rupees to print and distribute materials to students. A second disbursement will be made in August 2025. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as Part C, I am informed that as of now, there are approximately 141 students in grade 9 and 163 students in grade 9+ in Rodrigues. These students are expected to begin their training at MITD centers as from 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, the Honourable 4th Member for Portrush. He's not here. Honorable First sorry. Oh, it is transferred to PM. Okay, sorry. The Honorable First Member for Savannah and already replied by the Minister of Tourism. The Honorable First Member for Rodrigues, Ms. Colette.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Vice-président. B8 sans 6, s'il vous plaît.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Inter-College Sport Competition 2025 was a joint collaboration between my ministry and the Ministry of Education and Human Resources. Mr. Deputy Speaker, with regard to part A of the question, some 2 million rupees was spent. Mr. Deputy Speaker, with regard to part B of the question, prior to the holding of the final of Inter-College Sport Competition 2025, several coordination meetings were held comprising officers of my ministry, educators, rectors from a school that had qualified for the final, as well as officers from the Mauritius Air Police Force and the Mauritius Fire Services, where matters such as discipline, respect for the rules of the competition, and good behavior were raised and discussed. During the final, police officers from several divisions, along with the Mauritius Fire and Rescue officers, security officers of the Mauritius Multi-Sport Infrastructure Limited, and educators and accompanying staff ensured a secure and disciplined environment for athletes and supporters at all competition sites. Venues was physically accessible to people with disabilities, and the organizing team ensured that no athlete or supporters was discriminated against based on his or her social background, his schooling, gender, physical appearance, and otherwise. Mr. Deputy Speaker, with regard to part C of the question, the House will appreciate the fact that this is the first edition of the inter-college competition that this government has organized in its endeavor to revive this competition. As such, this first edition did not feature any special event for students with disabilities. That being said, both my ministry and the Ministry of Education and Human Resources are considering a special event for sport discipline in future edition for the inter-college sport competition. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to part D of the question, I can inform the House that the inter-college sport competition will be an annual event.
Yes, you have a supplementary.
Alors, Monsieur le Vice-président, l'honorable ministre peut-il fournir des précisions quant aux dépenses totales engagées pour l'organisation des finales nationales de la Intercollegiate Sports Competition, lesquelles ont permis à plusieurs jeunes athlètes prometteurs originaires de Rodrigues de se démarquer?
The Ministry of Youth and Sport spent 1.4 million, and Ministry of Education 650,000.
Honorable Third Member for Bobassa, Petite Rivière.
B807.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, on the 13th July 2025, my ministry received an email from the Mauritius Judo Federation informing my ministry that it had held a special General Assembly on 11 July 2025 at its registered seat at De Dieu at Grand Rivière Northwest. With respect to part A of the question, I'm tabling the composition of the newly elected managing committee as submitted by the State Federation. Mr. Deputy Speaker, with respect to part B of the question, I'm informed by the Mauritius Judo Federation that 13 clubs took part in this election. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I also wish to inform the House that in accordance with Section 3A and 3B of the second schedule of the Sport Act 2016, there exists a specific statutory provision which sport federations are required to comply with one convening a General Assembly. In light of this recent notice of meeting circulated by the Mauritius Judo Federation, my ministry has found it prudent to seek the advice of the Attorney General Office to ascertain whether all the prescribed notification period and procedural requirements have been duly observed. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that I have personally committed myself to seeking a fair and acceptable resolution to the ongoing issue affecting the Mauritius Judo Federation. To this end, I have convened and chaired more than 3 mediation meetings in an effort to bring the parties together. It is, in my view, wholly unacceptable that approximately 18 judo clubs continue to be denied official recognition by the Federation governing body. This situation is detrimental not only for the development of the sport, but also to the athlete and stakeholders involved. I would like to inform honourable members that the matter is currently before the Sport Arbitration Tribunal with a hearing scheduled for Thursday, 31st July 2025. I remain confident that the issue will be resolved in the coming days.
Monsieur le Vice-président, est-ce que l'honorable ministre est-il en train de confirmer que son ministère n'a pas été informé au préalable de la tenue de cette Assemblée générale élective de la Fédération de judo,
No, we were not because there is no reason for any federation to tell us when they are going to hold their meeting, their election. So we learn it by afterwards.
Je pense que c'est la moindre des choses, mais si le ministre trouve que c'est normal, je n'en dirai pas plus. Donc, dans l'éventualité, Monsieur le Vice-président, où le tribunal d'arbitral du sport donne gain de cause dans un proche avenir aux 18 clubs de judo que la Fédération refuse. Non, mais on peut quand même... Non, mais écoutez la fin de ma question, vous allez comprendre pourquoi je la pose. Le ministre peut-il envisager de demander l'annulation des résultats?
You are asking the minister to this is a speculative question. You have to await the outcome of the tribunal, then the minister will decide what to do. Let's wait. You ask the question after the outcome of the tribunal.
The question is hypothetical.
Yes.
When we come to the brief question.
The Honourable Second Member for Rodrigues.
Yes, thank you. B808.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, with regard to part A of the question, I would like to inform the House that the purpose of my mission to Rodrigues was to renew the Memorandum of Understanding between the RDA and the Commission for Public Infrastructure, Transport and Housing of the Rodrigues Regional Assembly, which expired in 2024. Furthermore, the mission team was tasked to carry out a monitoring and evaluation exercise for projects that were being implemented by the National Development Unit as well as Land Drainage Authority at various locations in Rodrigues. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I also had the privilege to attend a high-level presentation of the Inception report on the Land Drainage Master Plan on Wednesday, 31st July 2025, in the presence of the Deputy Chief Commissioner of Rodrigues, representatives from the Ministry of National Infrastructure, Land Drainage Authority, Road Development Authority, Commission for Public Infrastructure, Commission for Agriculture, Rodrigues Public Utilities Commission, Rodrigues Regional Assembly, and the consultant Société d'études techniques et économiques, SETEC, amongst others. The delegation conducted field visits to several key sites across Rodrigues, namely Baie Malgache, Camp du Roi, Pont-la-Digue, Anse-aux-Anglais, Rivière-Anse-Raffin, and Cascade Victoire 1 et 2, where the consultant SETEC has installed hydrometric instruments to monitor real-time water flow and rainfall patterns as part of the broader flood risk assessment strategy. The team also carried out various site visits for drain works at Quatre-Vents, Anse-aux-Anglais, and Acacia, raising of forts at Bétopaz, Pistache, Mouroucois 1 et 2,
Diamant 1 et 2, and at Grand Bay. Mr. Deputy Speaker, as regards to Part B of the question, I wish to inform the House that the contract for the formulation of the land drainage master plan for Rodrigues has been awarded to CETEC, a French consultancy firm. The overall objective of the LDMP is to build climate resilience and reduce Rodrigues' vulnerability to flooding, taking into consideration the island's specificity. The project was launched on 13 March 2025, and the inception report was submitted in July 2025. The launching of 3 projects, namely drain works at Quatre Vents, dans Daris, raising of ford at Baie-Topaz, and raising of ford at Pistache, was held at Pistache by myself in the presence of the Chief Commissioner and Deputy Chief Commissioner, in presence of local inhabitants and representatives from various institutions. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I have to inform the House that the following projects will be implemented by the National Development Unit, subject to availability of funds. Port Mathurin, phase 3, drain works at Anceaux-Anglais, raising of fords at Diamant 1 et 2, raising of ford at Grand Bay, raising of fords at Mourouk 1 et 2, raising of ford at Baie du Nord, raising of ford at Rivière Coco, drain works at Acacia. With your permission, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'm tabling the full details of the above projects.
Yes. The Honourable First Member for Lakavian Phoenix.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. B 809, please.
Monsieur le Vice-président, je voudrais tout d'abord informer la Chambre qu'une nouvelle feuille de route pour l'énergie renouvelable est actuellement en cours de révision. L'objectif fixé par l'ancien régime était d'atteindre 60% d'énergie renouvelable dans notre mix énergétique d'ici 2030, parallèlement à la suppression progressive du charbon. Nous sommes actuellement, malheureusement, à moins de 18% d'énergie renouvelable. Et cet objectif n'est donc ni réaliste ni réalisable. Mon ministère, Monsieur le Vice-président, a obtenu l'assistance de l'Agence internationale pour les énergies renouvelables, IRENA, pour la révision de cette feuille de route pour les énergies renouvelables, qui sera également alignée sur le nouveau plan stratégique pour les énergies renouvelables en cours de finalisation par la Marina. Concernant la partie A de la question, je suis informé qu'une assistance technique a été obtenue en 2023 auprès de l'Université technique danoise pour la réalisation d'une étude de préfaisabilité sur l'énergie éolienne offshore à Maurice, dans le cadre du Fonds conjoint pour les ODD, Objectifs de développement durable. Le rapport soumis en décembre 2023 proposait le développement d'un parc éolien offshore fixé à 100 MW au nord de l'île Maurice, entre l'île Plate et l'île Coin-de-Mire. J'ai également été informé qu'en juin 2024, l'année dernière, l'Université technique danoise a élaboré un avant-projet pour le développement d'un parc éolien offshore de 100 MW. Cet avant-projet prévoit les spécifications techniques générales relatives aux fondations, aux éoliennes, à l'aménagement d'un parc, au chemin des câbles et au raccordement du réseau. La prochaine étape consiste à réaliser une étude de faisabilité détaillée sur une évaluation préliminaire de l'impact environnemental et social. Mon ministère est actuellement en train d'obtenir le financement nécessaire. Concernant la partie B de la question, j'ai été informé, Monsieur le Vice-président, que Marina a lancé en 2021 une manifestation d'intérêt pour des services de conseil nécessaires à une étude de faisabilité sur les technologies d'énergie renouvelable océanique en République de Maurice. Malheureusement, le projet n'a pas eu de suite. J'ai également été informé que Marina, dans le cadre de son programme national pour les concepts de projets émergents basés sur les technologies de l'énergie renouvelable, a retenu une candidature d'un projet de conversion de l'énergie thermique des mers, ETM. Ce projet bénéficie du soutien du gouvernement japonais pour le développement d'une installation ETM terrestre à 1 MW destinée à fournir l'énergie renouvelable et une production d'énergie de base. Omis ce qui précède, Monsieur le Vice-président, j'ai été informé qu'aucune autre étude n'a été réalisée sur les énergies renouvelables maritimes. Monsieur le Vice-président, le nouveau plan le nouveau plan stratégique et la feuille de route des énergies renouvelables fourniront une indication des technologies à adopter, du calendrier en fonction de leur maturité et leur faisabilité économique et technique.
Yes. The Honourable Second Member for Savannah and Black River.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, please, B811.
I thank the Honourable Member for putting the question. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I seek your indulgence. I will circulate the reply at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary question? The Honourable Third Member for Parlement, Trioli.
Speaker, Commission as Acting Minister of Local Government, I shall reply to this question. The answer is in the affirmative. As regard to the lighting system, I am informed that this issue is being addressed. The expected starting date of replacement of floodlights is 4th August 2025. The project is expected to be completed within 2 months of the award of the contract.
Yes. The Honourable First Member for Savannah Black River.
B813, please.
Thank you. Mr. Deputy Speaker, with regard to part A of the question, I'm informed by the beach authorities that the toilet block was constructed in 2008 and is fully operational. The building is structurally sound and is maintained by the cleaning contractor, Keep Clean Limited. So, Deputy Speaker, as regards the provision of electricity, I'm informed that the CEB has initiated a project for the installation of a new underground electricity network from the entrance of Le Monde Heritage Site up to Le Monde Brabant Public Beach, and works are expected to be completed in the near future. Concerning water supply to the toilet block, I'm informed by the beach authority that a new CWA meter has been installed on the 16th of July 2025, and water supply is now available in the toilet block. In case of shortage of water supply, the cleaning contractor, together with the CWA, provides water tankers regularly and to ensure that the toilet block is functional and kept in a clean and hygienic state for the benefit of all beach users. Mr. Deputy Speaker, concerning part B1 of the question, I'm informed by the beach authority that there are actually no showers. Consideration is being given for the provision of same in the very near future. Regarding part B2 of the question, the beach authority is working on a project with regard to same. With regard to B3 of the question, the matter is being discussed with the cleaning contractor for the provision of a decent facility to the toilet cleaner.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Can the Minister consider to provide a small space or a room for the Ministry of Tourism, as this is the place where the kite surfers are growing in numbers, and we can have a small rescue team over there?
Deputy Speaker, we are planning a site visit very soon with all the ministers of tourism, the local authority, to look into all the development of the site.
Yes, now we go to question B779 to be replied by the Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs. Honourable Etoria, put your question B779. It was addressed to the Prime Minister, but it will be answered by the Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. At the outset, I wish to inform the House that the Government of Mauritius fully supports the initiative taken by the African Union to launch an African credit rating agency. In fact, the 28th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union, held in January 2017 in Addis Ababa, adopted a decision directing the African Peer Review Mechanism, which is a specialized governance entity of the African Union, to provide support to African Union member states in the field of rating agencies. Consequently, the 6th Ordinary Session of the African Union Specialized Technical Committee on Finance, Monetary Affairs, Economic Planning and Integration, ministerial meeting held in July 2023 in Nairobi, Kenya, adopted a declaration endorsing the establishment of a private sector-driven Africa Credit Rating Agency based on self-funding. The establishment of the Africa Credit Rating Agency represents a pivotal initiative aimed at enhancing financial transparency credibility and investment attractiveness across the African continent. Realizing the critical role of reliable credit ratings in fostering economic growth and stability, the Africa Credit Rating Agency seeks to provide independent assessments of creditworthiness tailored for African markets. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, on the 9th of June 2025, the Mauritius Embassy in Addis Ababa transmitted a note verbal from the APRM Continental Secretariat, inter alia inviting interested African Union member states to submit an expression of interest by the deadline of the 30th of June 2025 on country competitiveness as a primary jurisdiction for the registration of the Africa Credit Rating Agency. The Continental Secretariat of the APRM also encouraged African Union member states to inform credit rating agencies operating in their respective countries to formally express their interest for a joint investment for an Africa credit rating agency through a potential merger, acquisition, or technical partnership. On the basis of high-level consultations that I held with the Ministry of Finance and the Economic Development Board, and pursuant to the call issued by the APRM, the Ministry of Financial Services and Economic Planning submitted on behalf of the Government of Mauritius on the 30th of June 2025 an expression of interest to host and register the Africa Credit Rating Agency as a primary jurisdiction in Mauritius. The expression of interest has been submitted to the Mauritius Commercial Bank Capital Markets, a subsidiary of the Mauritius Commercial Bank, that has been appointed by the APRM as an independent transaction advisor to facilitate the establishment of the Africa Credit Rating Agency as an independent, credible, and private sector-driven entity. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the submission of the expression of interest by Mauritius to host the Africa Credit Rating Agency is testimony of government's full commitment to enhance the visibility of the Mauritius International Financial Center on the African continent. To conclude, in line with our shared commitment to the ideals, principles, and aspirations of the African Union, Mauritius thus fully supports the establishment of the Africa Credit Rating Agency. Thank you.
So this was the last question. Time is over. Madam Speaker will resume the seat.
Please be seated. Motion. Yes, Prime Minister.
I'd like to move that all the business and today's order paper be exempted from provisions of Paragraph 2 of the
Thank you. The question is that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of Paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Statements by Ministers none. Public bills, first reading.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Civil Appeal Bill number 21 of 2025 be read a first time.
Yes, motion is seconded. Who's seconding the motion? Yes. DPM, yes, thank you.
Public bill, second reading.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I know, but I thought you were going to call the three bills. Leader of the Opposition, you have the three bills, and now you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Le 5 juin dernier, c'est-à-dire 50 jours de cela, le gouvernement de l'Alliance du changement avait présenté son tout premier budget, et force est de constater que ceux qui ont fait confiance aux grands défenseurs de la liberté ont vite déchanté après l'annonce des mesures. Ces amendements proposés dans ce Finance Bill vont accélérer l'appauvrissement de la population qui a déjà commencé depuis quelques mois. En cette période hivernale, Madame la Présidente, ce gouvernement a jeté un froid parmi la population avec ce premier budget qui laisse un goût amer et qui est mal digéré par le peuple. Et je qualifierai ce Finance Bill comme du pain rassis et une tasse de thé sans sucre et sans lait, Madame la Présidente. En passant, le sachet de lait se vend aujourd'hui à 300 roupies. Le ministre du Commerce devrait revoir le markup sur ce produit. Certains importateurs se tapent des millions sur le dos du peuple. Même la paire de dol pourris se vend à 25 roupies à certains endroits. Madame la Présidente, je vais maintenant aborder en détail les diverses lois clés qui ont été amendées dans ce Finance Bill, comme la Companies Act, la Finance and Audit Act et l'Income Tax Act. Ce Finance Bill vient nous démontrer encore une fois qu'il y a un manque de coordination entre ce gouvernement et le service public. Et je vais citer quelques exemples. La mauvaise gestion du dossier du Basic Retirement Pension, le méli-mélo du Fair Share Contribution, et ce gouvernement a présenté des mesures sans prendre en considération leur impact sur la population et sur l'économie de notre pays. On a annoncé l'abolition de la Basic Retirement Pension pour ceux entre 60 et 65 ans sans aucune consultation et étude au préalable. Et après, on vient mettre en place des comités ministériels qui ont ensuite essayé d'atténuer les effets de cette mesure très impopulaire. La semaine dernière, pas plus tard que la semaine dernière, 2 organisations syndicales étrangères, la branche africaine de l'International Trade Union Confederation et l'Industrial Global Union, ont dénoncé avec force le fait que ce gouvernement a transgressé la Convention 144 du Bureau international du travail dont Maurice est signataire. Cette convention, Madame la Présidente, concerne l'obligation de l'État à avoir des consultations tripartites. Il dénonce aussi cette décision unilatérale qui va directement impacter la vie des travailleurs, mais non seulement la vie des travailleurs, mais aussi des pensionnaires de notre pays. Et il demande tous au gouvernement de respecter cette convention et de faire marche arrière sur le Basic Retirement Pension et d'engager au plus vite possible des consultations sur le sujet. Quelle honte pour ceux qui se disent proches des travailleurs et quelle honte pour ce gouvernement qui est composé des partis qui se disent être socialistes. Madame la Présidente, la question qu'il faut se poser cet après-midi est la suivante. Est-ce un gouvernement qui travaille pour ou contre le peuple? Même si le Finance Bill comporte certaines propositions positives, les fondamentaux de ce projet de loi et du budget n'ont pas changé et les vulnérables seront les plus touchés. Madam Speaker, I refer to Section 39 of the Finance Bill, which deals with the National Pension Act. Après les débats du premier finance bill de ce gouvernement, les membres de l'autre côté de la Chambre vont voter en toute conscience l'abolition de la pension de vieillesse pour ceux âgés entre 60 à 65 ans. Permettez-moi, Madame la Présidente, de faire référence à un extrait de la réponse de la PNQ que j'avais posée au ministre de la Sécurité sociale le 8 juillet dernier. Sa réponse démontre clairement l'agenda antisocialiste de ce gouvernement et aussi des conseillers au sein de ce gouvernement. Parce qu'il avait dit, et je vais citer, "Three proposals for income support were put forth to the Interministerial Committee. The first one was 5,000 rupees, the second one 7,000 rupees, and the third one was 10,000 rupees as income support. And the financial advisors, I must stress, had recommended the amount of 7,500. However," and he continued, "however, government, having heard the people, having heard the difficulties surfaced through the recent weeks, has decided to provide the sum of 10,000 rupees as income support." Donc, à en croire certains membres de ce comité interministériel, une personne de 60 ans peut vivre avec 5 000 roupies of income support. Et selon ses conseillers, qui aujourd'hui, il faut le dire, qui ne touchent plus que 100 000 roupies, une personne âgée de 60 ans peut vivre avec 7 500 roupies. Madame la Présidente, avec l'augmentation du coût de la vie qui est de plus en plus inquiétante, l'inflation dans les années à venir, les 10 000 roupies ne suffiront pas et vous êtes en train de forcer les gens, même malades, à travailler après leurs 60 ans pour pouvoir survivre. Let me now come to section 53, which is related to the social contribution and the Social Benefits Act. Lors de son intervention, le Premier ministre, vendredi dernier, avait affirmé ceci, et je cite, "The previous government had planned to end abruptly the different CSG allowances, namely the CSG income allowance, the child allowance, the school allowance, the maternity care allowance, and the pregnancy care allowance. As a compassionate government, we are ensuring that the CSG allowances are renewed and gradually phased out over the next 2 years." La Présidente, c'est l'ancien gouvernement qui avait mis en place ces allocations. Et il n'y avait aucun plan d'enlever ces allocations. Now, if you are really a compassionate government, then why are you phasing out the CSG? Quelle contradiction! La CSG, Madame la Présidente, avait sa raison d'être. C'était un système plus juste qui a permis au gouvernement de générer des milliards. Et avec ces milliards, nous avons non seulement augmenté la pension, mais également introduit des allocations. Par exemple, qui ont permis à un citoyen mauricien qui touchait, allons remonter jusqu'à 2014, 1500 roupies par mois, de toucher graduellement 20 000 roupies comme revenu aujourd'hui. Et par exemple, le Child Allowance était une mesure réfléchie et sociale et dans un esprit d'alléger le budget d'un couple ayant un projet de fonder une famille, tout comme d'autres allocations qui étaient bénéfiques à la population. Dans ce budget, malheureusement, un certain nombre de ces allocations seront soit réduites ou éventuellement éliminées. Et vous allez encore nous sortir cette fameuse phrase, la caisse vide. Mais aujourd'hui, Madame la Présidente, pas un seul Mauricien ne croit à votre argument que les caisses sont vides, sauf vous au sein de ce gouvernement. Aujourd'hui, une très grande majorité de la population croit fermement que ce gouvernement protège les intérêts de ceux qui possèdent au détriment de la classe moyenne. Cette politique va malheureusement créer l'écart entre les riches et les pauvres. Quand nous savons, Madame la Présidente, tous les efforts qui ont été faits pour diminuer cet écart par l'ancien gouvernement. Et je fais référence, pour soutenir cet argument, au rapport publié par Statistics Mauritius en février 2025, sous le titre « Poverty Analysis 2023 ». Ce même bureau des statistiques qui a été très critiqué par l'actuel gouvernement. Ce rapport confirme, et ça c'est vérifiable, que pendant ces 10 dernières années, nous avons grandement progressé dans la lutte contre la pauvreté dans le pays, et cela grâce aux allocations et à l'État-providence. Ce gouvernement sera responsable de l'appauvrissement de la population. Madame la Présidente, la valeur de la roupie dégringole, les prix des produits flambent, la pension et les allocations sociales disparaissent aujourd'hui. Les PME sont taxées, les intérêts sur les prêts augmentent et nous sommes qu'au début du mandat de ce gouvernement. Pendant ce temps, on nous demande encore et encore de serrer la ceinture. Mais jusqu'où devons-nous serrer la ceinture? Madame la Présidente, les promesses faites dans le manifeste électoral des partis. The more they shout, the more I speak louder. Les promesses faites dans le manifeste électoral des partis du gouvernement pour rétablir le pouvoir d'achat ne sont que des illusions. Vous avez tourné le dos au peuple et vous n'êtes plus un gouvernement crédible. Je vais maintenant commenter la clause 4 du Finance Bill, la Banking Act ainsi que la Bills of Exchange Act sont en train d'être amendés pour, je pense, améliorer le marché d'échange. Ce gouvernement avait critiqué la politique de l'ancien régime à ce sujet. Depuis leur prise de pouvoir, il y a eu 5 interventions de la Banque de Maurice sur le marché d'échange pour un total de 70 millions de dollars. Et le résultat, le dollar ne cesse de grimper et l'euro est aujourd'hui à 53 roupies, Madame la Présidente. Chiffre record sous ce gouvernement. Et l'impact sur l'importation sera terrible et l'effet cascade sur les prix de nos supermarchés se font déjà sentir. Concernant le secteur de la construction, la situation actuelle est très difficile. Difficile pour un secteur qui est passé pendant 10 ans, par 2 lockdowns et qu'ils ont survécu, mais c'est un secteur aussi qui a eu une croissance de l'ordre de 28%, Madame la Présidente. Aujourd'hui, ce secteur est aux abois de par les mesures annoncées dans le budget et ne tardera pas à licencier des employés. À la clause 7.3 du Finance Bill qui concerne le grading of contractors, le gouvernement décide de revenir à l'ancien système de grading des compagnies de construction. Ce système avait été revu et les contracteurs classés en 3 catégories. Cela afin de permettre les petits contracteurs d'avoir accès à des gros projets. Aujourd'hui, à cause de leur chiffre d'affaires et avec cet amendement, ces compagnies seront condamnées, si je peux utiliser ce terme, à tâle la main à des gros contracteurs. Avec ce budget, ces mêmes gros opérateurs sont dans l'inquiétude vu l'absence d'investissement dans des gros chantiers pour les prochaines années à venir. La grande réforme de l'amélioration du trafic routier prévoyait plus d'accessibilité grâce à un réseau routier moderne et un système moderne de transport en commun. Qu'est-ce que le Finance Bill vient nous proposer pour diminuer le trafic routier? Pas d'extension du métro, 2 projets de route qui seront mis en chantier dans 3 ans et pour faire simple, rendre les voitures inaccessibles aux Mauriciens en augmentant la taxe sur les voitures. Je viens maintenant à notre secteur touristique et la question c'est est-ce que ce gouvernement a une vision pour ce secteur? Ce qu'on veut savoir de ce gouvernement, c'est quelle est la stratégie pour nous rendre plus compétitifs vis-à-vis des pays comme les Seychelles et les Maldives. L'introduction du tourist fee à la clause 58 du Finance Bill va obliger les directeurs des tourist accommodations respectives à verser un tourist fee par nuitée pour chaque touriste ayant séjourné chez lui en euros, s'il vous plaît, chaque mois à la MRE. Pour les gros opérateurs, ce ne sera sans doute pas un souci parce qu'ils ont les moyens. Mais qu'en est-il aux petits opérateurs? Pourquoi ne pas prélever ces sommes directement à leur arrivée? Le système de paiement préconisé dans le Finance Bill va définitivement promouvoir des magouilles. Certains opérateurs touristiques vont collecter le tourist fee et vont peut-être déclarer moins. Et dans la pratique, ce sera difficile pour la MRE de vérifier les comptes. And to add insult to injury, Madame la Présidente, comme si cela n'était pas suffisant d'augmenter les prix des billets d'avion entre Maurice et Rodrigues, cette fois comme mesure de redressement et de changement que propose le Finance Bill à la clause 12, on va amender la Customs Tariff Act pour que tous ceux qui voyagent entre Maurice et Rodrigues paient la VAT sur les produits achetés dans les magasins duty free. Et maintenant, j'en viens au Fair Share Contribution. Dans le discours du budget, le Premier ministre avait annoncé une taxe de 10% pour ceux qui touchent entre 12 et 24 millions de roupies par an et 20% pour ceux qui touchent plus que 24 millions de roupies par an. Et comme par magie, cette partie du discours du budget avait disparu quelques heures plus tard. Et aujourd'hui, c'est une fair share contribution unilatérale de 15% pour ceux qui touchent plus que 12 millions de roupies annuellement, soit une hausse de 5% pour une catégorie et une baisse de 5% pour une autre catégorie. Pourquoi ce changement? Qu'est-ce qui, ou plutôt, qui a influencé cette décision? Je laisse la population en juger par elle-même. Madam Speaker, previously this tax was known under a different name, that is the Solidarity Income Tax, and was repealed in January 2012, and the tax rate applicable was 10%. The fair share contribution will include dividends received from a resident company and or a cooperative society, while dividends as per item 1 sub part B of the second schedule of the Income Tax Act is exempt, and I expect the Prime Minister to clarify this inconsistency when he intervenes later. There is also, Madam Speaker, a possibility of double taxation as dividend is derived from profit of a company which is subject to a tax at 15%. Under the fair share contribution, the same dividend is being taxed now in the hands of the shareholder. Now, with regard to companies, the introduction of fair share contribution for companies having chargeable income of more than 20 million rupees, 5% applies to domestic companies and 2% to export companies, and the fair share contribution is to be paid in VAT returns on a quarterly basis. It will be an additional burden. It would have been much simpler to handle the fair share contribution for those companies under the advance payment system of the income tax rather than declaring it in the VAT returns, Madam Speaker. With regard to Part 12D, dealing in a bill dealing with financial assistance, I believe that this fiscal policy may have negative social implications or disproportionately affect certain group of people, and I consider this measure also as an anti-social measure. I now refer to Section 150G, which deals with the Housing Loan Relief Scheme. The decrease in the housing loan scheme could significantly impact low to medium income families who very often rely on such programs for home ownership. This change will no doubt exacerbate housing affordability issues and make it more challenging for these groups to secure financing and achieve stable housing, Madam Speaker. When one takes a closer look at the new tax rate, and this is important, for example, individuals earning over 1 million rupees will now automatically be placed in the 20% tax bracket. Under the previous tax structure, the 20% rate applied only to those with income not exceeding 2,390,000 rupees. This measure, and mark my words, will again affect the middle class, rendering them more vulnerable and contributing to their financial decline, Madam Speaker. Let me now come to section 61 concerning value-added tax. Madam Speaker, businesses with a turnover of taxable supplies amounting to 3 million rupees are now required to apply for compulsory VAT registration, whereas the previous threshold was 6 million rupees. I have said it, and I say it again, this measure will negatively impact on businesses, and in the majority of cases, that burden will be passed over to consumers. Pendant que la colère gronde et qu'il n'est plus qu'apparent pour qui roule ce gouvernement, on va amender la Consumer Protection Act. Pourquoi faire? Pour permettre de veiller sur les achats en ligne. C'est un pas en avant de légiférer les online transactions sur les réseaux sociaux. Mais je pense qu'il faudrait rendre obligatoire l'enregistrement de tous les opérateurs ou individus qui font de la vente en ligne. Et j'attire l'attention de la Chambre que, par exemple, concernant la vente en ligne des suppléments médicaux ou alimentaires, aujourd'hui, il n'y a aucun contrôle. Now, Speaker, let me now come to section 50P concerning qualified domestic minimum top-up tax, that is the QDMT tax. A qualified domestic minimum top-up tax is being imposed on a resident parent or subsidiary of a large multinational enterprise to raise their effective tax rate to 15%. The OECD has developed the Global Anti-Base Erosion, that is GLOBE rules, to ensure that multinational enterprises, that is MNEs, having annual consolidated revenue of 750 million euro or more are taxed on their global income at a minimum rate of 15%. If a resident subsidiary of such an MNE is being taxed at an effective rate of less than 15% in a jurisdiction, the application of the GLOBE rules will imply that another tax jurisdiction, usually the jurisdiction where the multinational is headquartered, will collect the difference in tax. The QDMT is going to adversely impact on the attractiveness and competitiveness of the Mauritius International Financial Center. It will also create frustrations among international financial centers, while at the same time distort, I believe, diplomatic ties and bilateral relationships between Mauritius and countries in Europe, where most of those multinationals enterprises come from. The QDMT as a disincentive will hinder the relocation of MNE's headquartering and various other offshore structures in Mauritius, and there is significant risk of many existing offshore corporate structures exiting Mauritius towards a more attractive international financial center, such as, for example, Dubai or Singapore. Madame la Présidente, permettez-moi de terminer sur cette note. Le Finance Bill sera malheureusement voté et les mesures budgétaires seront mises en place. Je ne vais pas retourner sur les effets de ces mesures sur la population dans son ensemble. S'il y a une chose, et je pèse mes mots quand je dis, que la population doit prendre en considération, c'est que ce projet confirme le démantèlement de l'État-providence dans notre pays. Madame la Présidente, un vote en faveur de ce texte de loi va graver les noms de ceux qui ont voté pour, comme ceux qui ont arraché la pension des mains d'honnêtes travailleurs et qui va plonger la classe moyenne et les plus vulnérables dans une profonde pauvreté. Vous allez condamner des centaines de milliers de familles mauriciennes à vivre dans l'endettement et la précarité pendant votre mandat. Et j'espère, j'ai le souhait, que vous allez en prendre conscience rapidement et revoir certaines de ces décisions. J'en ai terminé, Madame la Présidente.
Merci beaucoup, Leader of the Opposition. Honourable Minister of Labour.
Madam Speaker, before answering to the Honourable Leader of Opposition, may I start by commending the Honourable Prime Minister today for doing away with a practice that was established by the MSM government, which is to lump all type of legislation in the finance bill. And that went against the ruling delivered by the late Honourable Kailash Payag on the 21st of July 2009. And I think it's worth reminding what he said. In the light of the foregoing principles and practices, I rule that the Finance Miscellaneous Provision Bill should not contain provisions intended to make permanent changes in existing laws unless they are essentially connected with national finance or are consequential upon or incidental to the taxation proposal, and may also include provisions that are sufficiently closely related to those matters within the spirit and scope of the bill defined in the long title. And this is why today we have a finance bill which deals with all financial measures budgetary announced in the budget, and then we have another miscellaneous provision bill. The MSM did the contrary, and as a result, I remember, and the Honourable Leader of Opposition was in Cabinet then, we used to have finance bill amending 90 legislation plus in 300 pages long document, which no one read most of the time, only to find out that surreptitiously certain amendments had been proposed and voted and not sufficiently debated in this House. So we are doing away with this practice, Madam Speaker, and that is welcome. Monsieur le leader de l'opposition parle de empauvrissement de la population. Où étiez-vous lorsque votre gouvernement a donné 89 millions à Madame Senaouri? Ça, c'est pas l'appauvrissement? Quand votre gouvernement a donné plus de 150 millions de roupies à M. Hadi Abdullah, ça, c'était pas appauvrissement de la population? Les millions donnés à Maradiva, pas d'appauvrissement? Les milliards donnés à ceux qui ont bénéficié du MIC, et les plus de 160 millions de reward money. Donc vous êtes très mal placé, monsieur le leader de l'opposition, de parler de l'empauvrissement de la population. Vous parlez des changements qu'on a effectués suite au budget, à l'annonce du budget. On a mis sur pied de 2 comités. Oui, effectivement, on a écouté. On a trouvé qu'il y a certaines personnes qui sont les plus vulnérables, les femmes au foyer, les personnes qui ont travaillé trop dur dans la vie, les gens qui touchent moins de 10 000 roupies, les familles qui touchent moins de 20 000 roupies, et on a fait un effort. On a fait un effort et on va leur donner un special allowance de 10 000 roupies. Qu'y a-t-il de méchant dedans? Pourquoi vous prenez objection à cela? Bien sûr, si demain on a les moyens de faire plus, on va faire plus. Mais aujourd'hui, vous avez laissé les caisses vides. Les caisses vides. Pourquoi vous dites que les caisses n'étaient pas vides? peut-être que je dois vous faire rafraîchir la mémoire et vous dire ce que dans cette chambre, votre propre ministre avait annoncé. Le ministre Salvador, le ministre des Finances, en réponse à une question parlementaire du 24 octobre 2023. Je cite, « Monsieur le Président, le montant total déboursé pour le paiement de ces prestations est environ 25 milliards de roupies. Il ne reste donc rien par rapport aux contributions de la CSG. » Je redis, il ne reste rien. Quand il ne reste rien, ça veut dire que la caisse est vide. Votre propre ministre des Finances a dit qu'il a tout balayé, tout pris. Les 25 milliards de roupies qu'il a ponctués des salariés sous la contribution sociale généralisée, il a tout balayé. C'est pourquoi on vient dire que la caisse est vide. Et aujourd'hui, vous avez l'audace, une fois de plus, de remettre en question le fait que la caisse n'est plus vide. Et quand les autres parlent qu'il n'y a plus de caisse, parce que lorsque le Premier ministre a répondu aux questions, il a montré que ce n'est pas 25 milliards qui a été dépensé. C'est aussi 3,3 milliards et 7 milliards en plus, c'est-à-dire un total de 10,2 milliards en plus de la CSG qui n'avait rien. Donc, vous avez pris la caisse aussi, vous êtes parti. Madame la Présidente, le leader de l'opposition nous parle de contribution, de fair share contribution. Et il nous dit qu'on avait dans le budget annoncé qu'il y aurait une contribution de 10% pour ceux qui touchent en 12 millions et 24 millions, alors que ceux qui touchent plus de 24 millions aura à payer 20%. C'est vrai, c'était dans le discours budgétaire. Mais ce qu'il ne dit pas, c'est que le paragraphe 272, c'est écrit, et je cite, « A high income earner earning annual net income exceeding 12 million, inclusive of dividend income, will be required to pay a fair share contribution at the rate of 15% of his chargeable income. » Donc, c'était déjà annoncé que ce sera 15%. Oui, il y avait une contradiction, ailleurs c'était 10% et 20%, mais on ne change pas les règles du jeu. On vient juste clarifier ce qui était déjà un paragraphe dans 272 du discours budgétaire. Le leader de l'opposition nous dit qu'on va taxer 2 fois les dividendes. Mais là aussi, il a la mémoire courte. Lorsqu'il était dans le gouvernement en 2022, et lorsque le gouvernement d'alors avait introduit la solidarité Lévy, mais la solidarité Lévy incluait les dividendes. C'était plus de 3 millions, vous devez payer une solidarité Lévy de 15% en plus sur les dividendes. Et qu'est-ce qu'ils ont fait une année plus tard, en 2023? Sous pression du gros capital, ils ont aboli la solidarité Lévy. Et aujourd'hui, quand on met un fair share contribution, ils nous pointent du doigt, ils nous disent qu'on est en train de protéger les riches, alors qu'en 2023, l'ancien gouvernement avait aboli le solidarity Lévy. Le leader de l'opposition nous parle de quelle stratégie on a pour le secteur touristique. Je ne vais pas répondre à la place de l'honorable ministre du Tourisme, mais comme tout le monde, tous les Mauriciens, on a lu aujourd'hui dans les journaux que l'arrivée touristique du 1er janvier 2025 au 15 juillet 2025 s'élevait à 722 184 touristes, alors que pour la même période l'année dernière, c'était 700 880. Donc, comparé à votre gouvernement, notre gouvernement est en train d'augmenter le nombre d'arrivées touristiques. Donc pourquoi vous me dites qu'on est en train de tuer? Quelle est notre stratégie touristique? Donc si on n'a pas de stratégie, en tout cas c'est une stratégie qui marche, parce qu'on a plus de touristes aujourd'hui qu'on en avait sous votre gouvernement. Madame la Présidente, au sujet des income tax, le ministre et le leader de l'opposition est un peu confus, je dois le dire, parce que d'une part, il nous dit qu'on ne taxe pas suffisamment les riches. Il nous dit qu'on ne taxe pas suffisamment les riches, on fait la part des choses pour les riches. Et puis, dans la même phrase, il nous dit « Ah, vous êtes en train de tuer la classe moyenne, vous êtes en train d'imposer trop de taxes à la classe moyenne. » Donc, comme dit l'honorable Premier ministre, enfin, vous pouvez pas avoir tout. Je ne vais pas reprendre l'expression qu'il avait avec la première, mais il faut faire un choix. Il faut faire un choix dans la vie. Le choix qu'on a fait, Madame la Présidente, et c'est bon de le rappeler, ça se trouve à la page 54 du discours programme, paragraphe 297. Raising tax exemption threshold by 110,000 rupees, that is 28%. Removing 44,000 individuals from the tax net, 44 000 personnes qui payaient la taxe sous le gouvernement MSM ne paient plus la taxe sous ce gouvernement. 75,000 individuals earning between 500,000 and 1 million in a year will actually be paying less income tax. And as a result of the measures I have introduced, 81% of employees in our country will not pay any income tax. C'est ça la réforme fiscale. Exonérer un maximum de personnes. 80% des travailleurs de ce pays ne vont pas payer la taxe. Et ceux qui ont les moyens, ceux qui touchent plus de 12 millions de roupies par an, ils vont être imposables additionnellement 15% à partir des 12 millions. Donc, moi, j'ai absolument aucun problème avec la fiscalité. Au contraire, je pense que c'est une très bonne chose pour les petites et moyennes, les personnes au bas de l'échelle en termes de fiscalité. L'honorable leader de l'opposition n'a pas parlé de fair share contribution concernant les entreprises. Mais il est de mon devoir de faire ressortir, parce qu'il y avait eu tellement d'articles négatifs dans la presse et sur les réseaux sociaux, à l'effet que, soi-disant, le gouvernement était en train de revoir sa copie pour favoriser les entreprises. Que nenni, Madame la Présidente, jamais. On n'a pas touché au fair share contribution que va payer les entreprises, les compagnies. Ils continueront à payer ce qui a été annoncé dans le budget, jusqu'à 5% pour les compagnies qui touchent plus de 24 millions de roupies. La seule clarification qu'on a fait, c'est concernant les banques. Les banques, on a clarifié que le montant maximum que les banques vont payer, parce qu'ils payent aussi d'autres taxes, pas que le fair share, donc le montant maximum qu'une banque va payer, c'est 35% sur le bénéfice qu'il fait avec les transactions de domestic banking. C'est tout. C'est le seul changement qu'on a fait par rapport à ce qui a été dit dans le budget. Et ça aussi, ça a été fait pour clarifier. Aucun backpedaling, aucun retournement de veste, malgré la campagne mensongère qui a été dite en dehors de cette Chambre. Madame la Présidente, j'ai souri parce que je m'attendais à ce que le leader de l'opposition, visiblement mal renseigné, tombe dans le piège du Global le minimum, le Qualified Domestic Minimum Top-Up Tax. Non, il crie au scandale. La fin de notre secteur offshore, grand défenseur des secteurs financiers. Mais ce qu'il ne dit pas, Madame la Présidente, c'est que quand lui, il était au cabinet, le ministre des Finances, dans le Finance Bill de 2022, qu'est-ce qu'ils ont fait? Ils ont, en 2022, déjà introduit dans le Income Tax Act la notion de Qualified Domestic Minimum Top-Up Tax. Ils avaient déjà parlé de Global Rules, Global Anti-Base Erosion Rules, developed by OECD. Donc, ce qu'on est en train aujourd'hui de promulguer, c'est un concept qu'ils avaient déjà mis dans la loi, dans le Income Tax Act, depuis 2022. Et pourquoi ils l'ont fait? Parce qu'on est sous pression des organisations internationales, l'OCDE, le G20, qui forcent à tous les pays d'avoir un minimum de 15%. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? À Maurice, le taux général, c'est de 15%. Mais il y a plusieurs pays et il y a plusieurs entreprises qui paient moins de 15%. Par exemple, les Global Business Companies, certains d'entre eux payent seulement 3%. Donc, avec cette loi, qui a été adoptée par plusieurs pays, notamment l'Afrique du Sud, l'Angleterre, si vous avez une multinationale sud-africaine, par exemple, qui investit à Maurice, qui paie seulement 3% de taxes, ben, en Afrique du Sud, ils vont payer 12%. Donc, nous, à Maurice, on a un manque à gagner de 12% de taxes parce que sous cette convention, qu'on appelle le Pillar 2, sous cette convention, le pays d'origine va taxer la différence entre 15% et le montant qu'il paye à Maurice. Donc, pourquoi renier notre souveraineté sur les 12% de taxes? Pourquoi les donner à l'Afrique du Sud? Donc, c'est ça ce que cette loi vient de dire. C'est que maintenant, on pourra à Maurice, dans les cas exceptionnels des multinationales qui ont un chiffre d'affaires de 650 millions d'euros, on pourra les taxer jusqu'à 15%. Bien sûr, on a écouté ce que le secteur financier nous a dit. Mais dans le projet de loi lui-même, comme l'a si bien expliqué l'honorable Premier ministre lorsqu'il a introduit ce projet de loi, on a dit qu'à travers des regulations, on pourra exonérer certaines entreprises. On a dit à travers des regulations, on pourra avoir des mesures pour contrecarrer l'effet que cette taxe fiscalité minimum de 15% aura sur les entreprises. Donc on est conscient et on a eu des discussions avec les capitaines de l'industrie. On s'est assis, on a parlé et ils ont été, avant de passer le projet de loi, ils ont dit qu'ils sont d'accord. Ils sont d'accord, il y a un dialogue, ils vont parler avec le ministre des secteurs financiers, ils vont parler avec le junior ministère des Finances, et à travers des regulations, s'il y a lieu d'exonérer certaines sociétés de cette taxe minimum, on le fera. Madame la Présidente, je crois que j'ai répondu à la plupart des points soulevés par l'honorable leader de l'opposition. Moi, j'aimerais juste faire un dernier point sur quelque chose qui est dans le Finance Bill, mais que malheureusement le Premier ministre, il y avait tellement de choses à parler, n'a peut-être pas assez mis l'accent dessus. Et je veux en parler parce que c'est quelque chose qui nous tient au sein du gouvernement très à cœur. Vous vous souviendrez, Madame la Présidente, que ceux qui bénéficient d'une pension, qui sont en retraite ou bien qui ont un handicap, des veuves, des orphelins, cette pension est automatiquement coupée s'ils passent plus de 6 mois en dehors de Maurice. Et dans le discours budgétaire, le Premier ministre a déjà annoncé que cette règle ne s'appliquera plus dans le cas des personnes qui suivent des traitements à l'étranger. Mais après l'annonce de cette mesure budgétaire, on a reçu des représentations de la part des personnes qui reçoivent une allocation. En particulier, il y a une personne qui est aveugle, qui est une fille qui est en train de suivre ses études à l'étranger, mais parce qu'elle est en train de suivre ses études en France, elle ne peut pas être physiquement à Maurice. Et malheureusement, les autorités ont appliqué la loi et ont décidé de leur réclamer la différence de toutes les contributions qui ont été faites par le ministère de la Sécurité sociale alors qu'elle étudiait à l'étranger. Donc elle s'est dit, c'est pas possible. C'est pas possible. As a caring government, le Premier ministre est venu et dans le Finance Bill, maintenant, on a une provision. Non seulement les personnes qui sont à l'étranger pour des raisons médicales, mais aussi qui sont en train d'étudier à l'étranger, eux aussi, on ne va pas couper leur pension s'ils ne sont pas à Maurice pour plus de 6 mois. Et on allait encore plus loin. On a dit pour avoir un peu plus de flexibilité, on va permettre à ceux for good cause shown une fois. On ne va pas appliquer la règle. S'ils viennent nous prouver, good cause showed, pourquoi ils n'ont pas pu rester plus de 6 mois à Maurice. Donc, one-off. Donc, moi, je pense que cette mesure méritait d'être soulignée. Avec ceci, Madame la Présidente, I commend also the bill to the House.
Honourable members, I think we can have a break now for tea, and we'll come back in 30 minutes, right?